Broadcom's fiscal 2025 AI revenue. $20 billion, up 65% from the prior year, driven by custom AI chips, high-speed networking, and optical interconnects. Management reports $73 billion in AI-related backlog to be shipped over the next 18 months, with roughly $53 billion of that in custom AI chips and the rest in supporting components. Q1 fiscal 2026 AI semiconductor revenue guidance, $8.2 billion, about a 100% year-over-year increase. Management calls it achievable given the backlog. Broadcom's customer list is expanding. CEO Hock Tan revealed Anthropic and staggered $10 billion plus $11 billion orders, plus an additional fifth hyperscaler customer with a $1 billion order. These deals rationalize the backlog in future revenue. What Broadcom actually does in AI simple language? Broadcom is less GPU celebrity and more industrial maestro. It designs and supplies custom ASICs, application-specific integrated circuits, ultra-high-speed Ethernet switches, optical interconnects, and the data center plumbing that lets thousands of chips talk to each other at blistering speed. In short, while NVIDIA and now others make the compute engines, the GPU/accelerators, Broadcom builds the glue, the custom accelerators, and the mass production know-how that turns a prototype into a deployable rack-scale solution. That's why hyperscalers, companies running gigantic AI models, call Broadcom when they want chips built at scale and networks that don't melt under traffic. If GPUs are like sports cars built for speed, Broadcom is the company that builds the racetrack, the pit crews, and the customized fuel tanks that let teams race nonstop for weeks. Without the track and logistics, speed isn't worth much. The headline, $20 billion in AI revenue fiscal 2025, why that matters. Broadcom reported approximately $20 billion in AI-related revenue for fiscal 2025, a 65% jump year-over-year. That's not a rounding error or a nice-to-have. It's a major slice of the company's business and a signal that hyperscaler demand is real, big, and high-frequency. These sales include custom AI accelerators, XPU/ASICs, switches that move massive model data around the data center, and optical interconnects that tie everything together. Why it matters? $20 billion is not pocket change. At that scale, AI becomes a major driver of Broadcom's revenue growth, operating cash flow, and depending on mix and margin profits. That's why investor models now focus heavily on Broadcom's AI runway. By the way, if you are at least benefiting from this content so far and want more like this, like the video, it means much to us, and hit the subscribe button and comment the word more. Just go ahead and type the word more, so I know. Now that you have commented, let's continue. The $73 billion backlog. How to visualize a number that large. Management says Broadcom has nearly $73 billion of AI-related orders, a backlog expected to ship over the next 18 months. About $53 billion of that is tied to custom AI chips. The remainder is for supporting hardware like switches, optics, and other components. What does that mean practically? If Broadcom converts that backlog on schedule, it means waves of large, predictable revenue for the next several quarters, and in hardware businesses, predictability equals better capacity planning and better margin capture if they don't get forced to discount. Imagine a chain of movie theaters that pre-sells 73 million season passes for the next 2 years. At scale, that cash flow changes everything. You buy more screens, hire staff, and order more popcorn machines. The difference is the product. Broadcom is pre-sold chips, racks, and switches. Q1 fiscal 2026 guidance. $8.2 billion for AI semiconductors. Realistic? Broadcom guided to $8.2 billion of AI semiconductor revenue for Q1 fiscal 2026, roughly doubling year-over-year. Given the backlog scale and Broadcom's production roadmap, management called this highly achievable. In plain terms, the backlog plus manufacturing plans give Broadcom the capacity to hit those numbers, barring a surprise customer pause or a global supply chain shock. Guidance assumes customers continue accepting deliveries as scheduled and Broadcom's internal fab/packaging/assembly supply chain holds. Investors should watch shipment cadence, ASPs, average selling prices, and any signs of order pushouts. Anthropic, the $10 billion plus $11 billion orders, and the mystery customer reveal. Broadcom teased a huge $10 billion order in prior quarters. Management later announced the customer, Anthropic, and then revealed an additional $11 billion order for late 2026 ship dates. That's enormous for a single AI lab and demonstrates how startups with capital and demand can buying at hyperscaler scale. Anthropic's orders are for TPU-based systems and other custom racks, a major validation for Broadcom's joint TPU/ASIC efforts. Why this is big? When an AI company writes orders in the tens of billions, it signals both urgent compute demand and willingness to pay for scale. That helps explain Broadcom's backlog and why analysts are tilting bullish on potential revenue ramp. The SpaceX plot twist, orbital data centers, and how they could lift Broadcom. Late 2025 reports suggested SpaceX is planning an IPO in 2026 and exploring funding orbital data centers, compute payloads in orbit powered by continuous solar energy and cooled by space's natural environment. The idea: put compute where power is abundant and political/regulatory headaches, the user-referenced Earthbound data centers will become politically toxic, are in theory less intense. If SpaceX pursues this and needs rugged high-density low-power racks and interconnects, that's a potential new market for Broadcom systems and optics expertise. How SpaceX could soar Broadcom. New product category: orbital compute needs radiation hardening, mechanical ruggedness, and extreme thermal strategies. Broadcom already builds high-density racks and optical interconnects. Adapting those designs for space could create a specialized high-margin product line. Massive, long-term contracts, space deployments would require carefully engineered multi-launch supply chains. If Broadcom wins early supplier status, the contracts could be multi-year and sizable. Spin-off demand: an orbital compute program could accelerate research into more power-efficient switches and optics that would also sell back on Earth for low-power data centers and edge deployments, creating a technology multiplier effect. Investor narrative and re-rating: a tangible SpaceX partnership or even visible mention in RFPs could re-rate Broadcom as both a terrestrial and orbital infrastructure provider. That's a narrative with big multiples that could hit Broadcom to over $2,350 in coming years. Note this as well. God tells us in Revelation 14 verses 7-8 that fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters. And there followed another angel, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. I implore you to fear God and obey his law, for the time is near and judgment is near. Worship the true God, the creator of heaven and earth. Want more information about the book of Revelation? Please check the description section. That's the end for now. If you have watched until the end, drop a comment like this: I stayed until the end. Just comment that I stayed until the end. When I see this comment, I will give you a heart. 3 more favors I request from you. First, like this video, subscribe, and then turn on the notifications bell. If you do this, you greatly encourage us to continue bringing to you more information and insights. Do not miss out on our future videos. All I am asking is your subscription. Thank you for joining us today. Your support means so much to us. Do not hesitate to share this video to help someone who may benefit. I recommend that you watch the next video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts about today's video. Wish you God's protection and care. With God, all things are possible. Luke 1 verse 37.